Sanbanani Dumilan Mulweni, Goeiedag and good day. A warm welcome to Lentswe, the voice of Transnet, where we bring you inspiring stories, impactful conversations, and all things Transnet. I'm your host, Buitumela Makokwani, and as International Mandela Day approaches, we're once again reminded of the power of giving back not just as individuals, but as a collective. This year, Transnet Foundation is rolling out yet another powerful initiative aimed at transforming early childhood education environments in South Africa. Joining me today is someone who has been at the forefront of this impactful journey, Susie Mabee, Senior Manager for Livelihoods at the Transnet Foundation. Susie, thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much for having me, Puitumelo. On behalf of the foundation, allow me to express a special gratitude for your interest in Mandela Day and for your constant support of Mandela Day. The Mandela Day initiative in the entire group, Transnet Group, is an exciting moment. As you say, it is impactful and it is important to the Transnet community. So your support is very well received. Thank you, Puitumelo.
Thank you for that, Susie. Now, like every other year, Transnet Foundation is rolling out another special Mandela Day employee volunteerism initiative. Can you walk us through the focus for 2025?
I did indicate that Mandela Day represents almost a milestone in the Transnet community, an annual milestone. It is something that all our employees wish to be a part of. But for us as the foundation, it is not only about creating that platform where employees are able to plow back to the communities that they themselves live in and that are hosts to our operations. But for us as the foundation, the Mandela Day milestone is, as you introduced it, the impact that we leave behind, the sustainability, the footprint that we leave behind. And for this year, for 2025, that is of particular significance to us, that we ensure that whatever our intervention is, it must be an intervention that, in the same way that Madiba's legacy has stood the test of time, our intervention must stand the test of time. And for that reason, the focus is on firstly educational institutions such as primary schools and ECD centers. And then secondly, our focus is on providing those institutions with facilities that will transcend the 2025 generation for many, many years to come.
That is such a meaningful focus. It definitely highlights the importance of fighting for social justice and human rights. I believe Utata would smile at this initiative. We understand the aim is to create dignified environments by building these facilities. What was the motivation behind this year's focus?
You spoke about human rights. For us, a dignified early childhood environment is respecting the human right, the right of that young child in Zwide or in KwaZakele in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro. And it is in those two areas that we will be building ablution blocks, in other words, toilets, and not only building them with brick and mortar, but we will connect them to sewage and to water, so that the young children who attend the ECD centers, 6 of them, and 2 primary schools in Zwide and in KwaZakele, will going forward have a dignified environment. At the moment, if you look at the photographs that we have, the reality, the lived reality of those children is they use little buckets that are left out in the open as a toilet. There's no dignity to that. The human rights of that child is being ignored. And this is not a deliberate action on the part of the ECD Center. This is by no fault of their own. This is the circumstances that they find themselves in. And so, given the fact that Transnet has the opportunity to make this Mandela Day intervention, we have this opportunity available to us. We have decided that our outreach will be to create such an environment that will bring dignity to those young children. And as I said before, not only to the 2025 generation, but for many generations to come. And therein lies our sustainability.
Sounds like the team will definitely be transforming the nation and contributing positively to the society, one day at a time. Very heartwarming, Susie. So, this year, we're celebrating Mandela Day in Port Elizabeth and Johannesburg. How were these locations chosen, and which Transnet divisions will be involved?
Our locations are in the areas where the company operates. So we invest, our CSI investment happens in our host communities. This is the reason, this explains why we have our Mandela Day investment in Zwide and Kwazakele townships in Nelson Mandela Bay. Remember, we have two ports in the Gqeberha area. We have the port of Ngquha and the Port Elizabeth port. And then our second investment is at Isikelo Primary School in Tembisa, once again a host community of Transnet. We strive to involve as many of our operating divisions as possible. And so not only operating divisions, but units will be involved as well. In Port Elizabeth, all of the ODs will be participating. We have TPT, TNPA, National Ports Authority, we have TRIM participating, TFR, as well as engineering, Transnet Engineering. And then in Gauteng, we have Transnet Corporate Center. And this is once again an opportunity for our employees from TCC to participate in CSI. Historically, you may recall that during December of 2024, we hosted as the foundation the Shoes on Feet campaign. And one of the highest performing units was TCC. We received the second most donations of school shoes from our TCC community. And it is for this reason that we believe they are the most worthy employees of volunteering during Mandela Day. We also have a partnership with the Academy. They are actively involved as the Academy in ensuring the success of Mandela Day together with Transnet Property in Gauteng. Thank you, Buitumelo.
Sounds very exciting. I can imagine the transformation that will come with this initiative. Definitely looking very much forward to it. And in terms of impact, how many schools have been identified? And what was the criteria used to select them?
We have 6 early childhood development centers, and then we have 2 primary schools in Nelson Mandela Bay, and the one is Sikelo Primary School in Tembisa. So those are the number of schools or institutions that we have. The criteria that was used was firstly that they should fall within our host community. And then we were looking at, obviously, whether they were compliant with all of these are institutions that are legally registered either with the Department of Social Development or the Department of Education. Once we confirmed that, we needed to ensure that the track record, that the footprint that they have, was one that we would want to be associated with, that it was a reputable company or an organization, so that the association and our investment as a company is one that builds and is one that is with a company that is in good standing with the community within it works. And we found that all of them were compliant. And it is for this reason that we were then able to select those particular schools. And your question is more than an important question, and because of the need, Puetomelo, that is out there. So, although we only have, and I use the word only because of the large scope of the need, we have 6 ECDs and 3 schools, which in itself is a lot. The need by far exceeds Transnet's ability to deliver. So we are happy to be joining in and to be in the company of many other corporates that equally celebrate Mandela Day as we do. And I wish to remind you that last year we were in Mangaung and our focus was on 10 ECD centers. So during 2024 Mandela Day, we built toilets, ablution facilities at 10 ECD centers and connected them to bulk sewage and water as well. So the number keeps growing year by year. And the impact, as you can see, stretches beyond one province, one area. Our reach grows alongside the reach of our organization, Transnet.
Thank you for that, Susie. Sounds like we're continuing something that has already started before. Now, aligning with Transnet's bigger picture, how does this initiative reflect the company's broader commitment to social impact and education?
Transnet Foundation is responsible for the corporate social responsibility of Transnet as well as its operating divisions. As a state owned company, and with that mandate and that responsibility, our strategic focus is aligned with the social imperatives of the country. And so we are guided by what are the developmental needs that impacts this country. What are those issues that are at the forefront of the growth and development of communities in South Africa? Just like the mandate of Transnet as a whole is to grow the economy of the country. So the foundation seeks to plug in to growing the social landscape, the social sustainability, the livelihoods of people in South Africa. And that is what informs our decision. And I'm sure you will agree with me that one of the key drivers of development in the country is food poverty, and another major one is human dignity at educational institutions, such as proper and decent toilets. And this brings us right back to our Mandela Day initiative. This is what has informed our initiative. I'm sure that many of your listeners would have heard about incidents around pit toilets, around the lack of access to proper toilets across the country. And it is this issue, this pertinent forefront in the minds and well being of our learners that we wish to address through our Mandela Day intervention.
I think it will definitely be interesting to see how that transforms the daily lives of the children who are impacted at these schools. After all, Nelson Mandela did say himself that education is indeed a powerful weapon that can be used to transform the world. We thank you for your service. So, looking beyond Mandela Day, how does Transnet Foundation plan to continue and or expand these kind of initiatives?
Thank you for that question because I think I would not be doing the foundation justice if I didn't emphasize the fact that Mandela Day is a special day in the company, but we do make every day a Mandela Day. For the foundation, our interventions do not revolve around Mandela Day only. Our interventions go beyond. Our interventions look at education through ECD centers by building maths and science laboratories at schools in those communities where we operate, by initiating food security in outlying areas such as Warrenton in the Northern Cape and Glencoe in KZN, initiatives that make a meaningful, impact driven, and sustainable intervention in the lives of the people that we work with. But our interventions are not only Transnet centered, our interventions are people centered. We don't simply work in communities, we work alongside communities. We work with the community members. So, Witumelo, whatever you see the foundation doing is because of the interventions called upon by the communities where these interventions are implemented. And an example I'd like to give you is that of the Isikelo Primary School, our second Mandela Day that is being held tomorrow on Tuesday, the 15th of July. And there we will be building an assembly shelter at the school. This is at the request of the school. The school doesn't have a school hall, and they knew that it would be impossible for them to eventually afford a school hall. So they requested a simple shelter that would serve the exact same purpose as a school hall. We've worked together with them in designing the structure, in establishing where the structure would be placed, and walked every step of the way together with the school governing body as well as the school management. And this is our modus operandi, not to do for, but to do with. We follow in the footsteps of Madiba, not only to be handing out these kinds of interventions, but to be working alongside those communities where the interventions are taking place.
Consistency in kindness and service. A warm applause to you and your team for answering the global call to give back and, of course, uplifting the Transnet name.
Thank you so much, Buitomelo. I'm glad you call it kindness because we also believe in caring and being compassionate, having empathy for the members of those communities that we operate in, understanding, knowing what their needs are, what their pressure points are, and being able to be responsive to those. But for us, it's not only about being kind, it is about being kind and at the same time making an impact.
Thank you so much, Susie. Lastly, from our side, every year we see overwhelming employee participation. What does this incredible spirit of volunteerism say about our people, and how can we carry this legacy forward?
I am once again so grateful to you for that question because Mandela Day would never have been a success. It can never be without the volunteerism of our employees. Now, you say every year, and you're so correct because every single year we are oversubscribed. And we are oversubscribed within the first 5, 10, 15 minutes of sending out the call to volunteer. What this says about the Transnet employee, about the Transnet community, about the heart and the spirit of Transnet is that we don't only care about ourselves or about our company, we have a passionate sense of giving. We have an employee community that believes that they have as much a right as they have a duty, as they have a desire to make a difference in the lives of those communities where they operate. Um, and so on behalf of the foundation, and I think on behalf of the company as a whole, we should respect and admire that spirit of giving within the Transnet community. It has never died down, it continues to grow, and we continue to be proud of our Transnet employee community for their willingness, for their passion to volunteer. And in addition, allow me to say that our challenge always goes out to our employee volunteers. We make the objective very clear what their scope of work for the day will be, and that the objective is to complete that scope of work for the day. And so, if it is to build a wall up to roof height, then that is what they are required to complete. And we've never been disappointed. And this year, our challenge to our employee volunteers is to 100% complete that objective, complete the scope of work, to not only come out and volunteer, but also to understand that because our employees are given employee volunteerism leave as a leave entitlement, it means that for the day they are on duty at work, but only as a volunteer. And therefore, just like you would have completed any other scope of work, your KPI for that particular day in the office, we call on all our Mandela Day volunteers to, when you are on site, please let's achieve beyond our wildest dreams. Let us complete our scope of work.
There you have it, colleagues. We definitely encourage all Transnet employees to get involved. Thank you so much, Susie. What an insightful and inspiring conversation. We're proud to see Transnet leading in building dignity from the ground up, pun intended. And to our listeners, remember, Real change begins when we all come together. Transnet needs your partnership and sponsors to make these foundation initiatives possible. Therefore, if you'd like to partner with us or contribute in any way, please reach out via email at tfsponsorshipanddonations@transnet.net. Lastly, don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. We will be sharing updates on our Mandela Day and many other initiatives you don't want to miss. In the words of Madiba himself, what counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is the difference that we have made in the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead. Let us continue walking in Utata's footsteps, not just on Mandela Day, but every day. Until next time, I'm Guitumela Makukwani, and this is Lentswe, the voice of Transnet.